All right, you've probably seen on the news media throughout the country and politicians bragging about saving Social Security and expanding benefits and getting government employees, retired government employees, a whole bunch more money. And you probably want to know whether you qualify. And I got to tell you, you probably don't. And so we're going to talk about that today. I've been hoping this didn't happen. I was waiting for President Biden to go maybe veto this, pocket veto, or whatever the case may be, but it looks like it has actually passed. There's about 3% of workers out there that are very, very, very happy. Some have reached out to me and they say, yeah, they know it's wrong. They know it's not fair, but they want the other money. They want the extra money. And I understand where people need the extra money out there. It's tough out there, but it's not fair to the other 97%. So we're going to go into that today. And I think you should not be happy as well. And let's see what we can do to fix this going forward. So I'm going to talk about what this whole thing is and why these 2.5, 2.7, I think it's going to be a little bit more, probably about 3 million government employees, retired and future retirees. So it's going to be a lot more. We're looking at about $190 billion. I think it's going to be a lot more because we're looking over, those extras going into the future. So it's going to cost a lot more. It's going to cost you. It's going to cost the other 97%. So not only do you not get the money because these government employees are going to get five, six, seven, $800 a month more for the rest of their lives. Plus, they're going to get a nice big fat check for 12 months. So if they were, calculated, they're going to be, $500, they're going to get $6,000 check right out of the gate. And guess what? You're not. So let's talk about that today. And if they're going to get it, I recommend that we all get it. Everybody gets it. But this is a political stunt through and through. 100% political stunt. This is not Democrat or Republican. Biden signed it. He shouldn't have signed it, but he did. It's a political stunt. I can see why he did it. His argument is, hey, I expanded Social Security. He was, trying to expand Social Security, protect Social Security, but he just couldn't get it done. And I figured that he figured this was a Hail Mary. So at least the headlines would show that he, did something, was expanded Social Security, which he did, but he gave it to people that are not entitled to that percentage. And there's going to be a lot of people. Okay, I'll talk about what this whole thing is. It's reported 100% incorrectly in the news media. I wish there were some investigative journalists out there that would pick up on this story. They're just 100% parodying their corporate media politicians' line. And I've watched news media throughout the country, and they're saying, yeah, it's good. They're finally getting their money. They're no longer reduced, no longer cut, whatever the case may be. Yeah, they're just 100% copy of the corporate line. So if there are any investigative journalists out there, Anderson Cooper, you did an awesome job on Social Security overpayments, and Social Security went in there and they changed their policy on overpayments. So good job on that one. I need your help here. Any other investigative journalists, make sure you reach out to me and we'll go through this. And this is a good story. And it's completely fake support of Social Security. Okay. So, and I'm going to pop this up here real quick. I'll pop it up here again after I talk about what this whole thing is about. But we need to take action on a few fronts to protect Social Security, to actually protect Social Security, not this fake protection of Social Security that just passed. But I'll pop that up here in a little bit as well. So don't worry about that one. Now, okay. And like I said, this is going to cost you, everybody out there, the 97% and even 100% of people, because that $190 billion has to come out of somewhere. And guess what? It's going to come out of future cuts. So right now, this chart, it was applicable for yesterday before President Biden signed that act to law. So as of right now, I guess the 2034 cuts are probably going to happen sooner, probably earlier in the year or maybe 2033. And the cuts are going to be more, probably 22, 23%, because essentially $190 billion was just added on there. So we're going to get cuts sooner and they're going to be deeper. If the next president does some of the things he's talking about, there's going to be even more cuts sooner. And if you disagree, make sure you check my description in YouTube. I've got all the details in there, the analysis. But if we do something, if we become active, if we make sure politicians actually fix Social Security instead of doing all this BS theater, which it is, then we'll get zero cuts and Social Security will be around here for the future and for our kids and grandkids and all the rest of it. So But we have to stop this fake support of Social Security. And this is also going to cost you because you think customer service at Social Security is bad now. Just wait. I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country. I know how terrible customer service is. This is a design by politicians that want to destroy Social Security, that want to privatize Social Security. If the Social Security office in your area was so awesome and the people were really nice and you always got the right information and when you called them they picked up the phone and when you filed for disability retirement it was you got a decision immediately, and the politicians would say, hey, let's go ahead and privatize, let's do this, that, and you're like, heck no, these guys are awesome, they're doing an awesome job. So politicians that want to destroy Social Security don't want that. So what they do is they make Social Security as terrible as humanly possible, which they're doing a really, really good job at. They're very successful there, and it's going to get even worse going forward. Okay, so let's get into the details here, and there are some indisputable facts that supporters of this just can't deny. Okay, all right, let's go through them. A lot of people don't realize this, how your benefits are calculated for Social Security. Your benefits are calculated for Social Security based on your earnings. In Social Security's case, your high 35 years of earnings. They index that for an inflation and everything. So they take the high 35 years and do this calculations, 90%, 32%, 15% called bin points and everything. But super long story short, make this easy. The indisputable facts is lower income workers receive a higher percentage than high income workers. Okay. So this is basically like the chart here. Okay. So if you make about $10,000 a month on average throughout your life, your calculation is 35%. You get 35% of what you paid into Social Security. If your earnings throughout your life average monthly were, let's say, $1,000 per month, then you get 90%. And this has been the fact since day one, since 1935. Back in before World War II, it was what if it was under $200, you got like 40%, and over $200 a month, you got 20%. So it's always been like this. It's always been a progressive system where people that make less money throughout their life always get a higher percentage. It's been like that since day one. A lot of people don't realize this. The people that support this Social Security Fairness Act don't understand this. But this is the reality. It depends on how much you earn throughout your life and how many percentage. Okay. And number two, indisputable facts is how they determine whether you are low income or high income. Social Security determines that whether you are going to receive 90% or whether you're going to receive 50% or whether you're going to receive 35%. They do that based on your earnings throughout your life. They look at your earnings throughout your life and they take that AMI, the average index monthly earnings, and that's how they determine, okay, you're going to get 50%, you're going to get 56%, you're going to get 72%, you're going to get 31%, whatever the case may be. That's how they determine that. Okay, so those are two indisputable facts. Nobody can deny that. I've done the calculations millions of times when I worked at Social Security. The computer system does them obviously now. But hey, if you need help with Medicare, Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplements, Part D plans, make sure you reach out to my partners at Chapter Medicare. I looked for a place that would help y'all out, and Chapter Medicare knocked it out of the park. They've got excellent customer service. They look at every single plan in your area, and their help is always 100% free. Give them a call and they'll see if they can help you out, and tell them Dr. Ed said hi. Those are two indisputable facts nobody can deny. And here's the issue. Those 3% of government workers have essentially been hiding, not necessarily them, but their states, their governments, the local governments or state government. They have essentially been hiding their earnings since day one. And to pretend like they're low income workers. So you've got, let's say here, someone that made average of $39.55. That's the average day in the United States. And the average check you get based on that is about $19.75. Okay. So the average worker in the United States makes about $39.55 throughout their life. Okay. So if you have a teacher in the 97% of teachers out there and firefighters and police that make that much money, they get 50% of how much they paid into Social Security. Okay. But if you hide your earnings, then Social Security can't calculate that in there. So what you paid into Social Security, you get a higher percentage. So a 3% of these teachers, firefighters, and police, they don't get 50% like the other 97% of teachers, firefighters, and police. They might get 51% or 52% or 56% or 60% or 70%. So there is no denying that they paid into Social Security. Yes, there is no denying that they're entitled to benefits that they paid into. Yes, nobody's denying that. The issue is the percentage. Do you deserve more than a police officer, teacher, government employee, state attorney, a mayor, whatever the janitor, the lunch lady? Do you deserve more? Those 3%, do they deserve more than equal people, the other 97% as a percentage? Do they deserve a higher percentage than everybody else? Right. So that is what this previous law that was enacted in the 1980s was trying to prevent. It's a windfall, the windfall elimination provision. And what is it, a perfect law? Of course not. It was designed 40 years ago with the computer systems and didn't have the information. Obviously, it was a terrible law. It was good for the most part. The intent was very good. The intent was right on, but the execution of it sometimes it didn't work out well. But the majority of the time it did. And rather than fix that law and make it easy, which is super, super easy to fix, investigative journalists reach out to me and I'll tell you how to fix a system. It's everybody on Social Security knows how to fix a system. It's a simple fix. But these people decided rather than fix the system and make sure they got fair compared to every other cop, teacher, and firefighter and mayor throughout the country, they decided they wanted more benefits, more percentage, a higher percentage than everybody else. And unfortunately, politicians, they decided there's a bunch of politicians. Again, this is on both sides. This passed bipartisan support. So there's a bunch of politicians that use this. Hey, I support Social Security. I'm expanding benefits. Well, no, you're actually doing the opposite. You're giving people essentially a larger percentage than everybody else that are equal to them. Is it, in normal circumstances, if you hide your earnings to get extra benefits, if you try that with the IRS, yeah, you're going to have issues. If you try that at welfare, go down there and try to get food stamps or something like that, and hide your earnings or hide your resources, you're going to have issues with that. But now they're 100% allowed to hide their earnings so they can move up the scale and get a larger percentage. And all of those people out there, the firefighters and cops and teachers and whoever, the janitors and the lunch ladies that work in the 97%, guess what? You don't get it. You don't get those extra percentage. I'm sure you would like to get, instead of getting 45% or 55%, I'm sure you would like to get another 5% or 10%. That would put an extra $100 to $200 in your pocket. So if you got the same deal as they are getting, you would get more every single month. But guess what? Guess you just don't have very good lobbyists. But you got me. So I'm going to go to the grave, I guess, fighting for this to make sure this is fixed. Again, the old law, the windfall elimination provision, the government pension offset, was it the perfect law? Of course not. But they're making the perfect, the enemy of the good. They should have gotten rid of that law, but they should have changed it to something else. But now they just completely got rid of it. And now they're getting all this extra money. And the rest of us can just, I guess, as someone told me yesterday, it passed. Ed, now you can go pound sand. So yes, so there's a lot of people out there. They're very, very happy, and a lot of them realize, yes, it's not fair, but I'll take the money. Again, the arguments, you'll see them in the comments. Are going to be a lot of people very, very unhappy and said, Ed, you're an idiot, yada yada yada. We earned that money. Yes, nobody is denying that you earned. If you and your compatriots and the other 97% of the country, teachers, firefighters, police officers, or whatever, if you are equal and you both paid $39.50, you earned $3,955 throughout your life, you should all receive 50% of what you paid into Social Security. Nobody is denying that. Nobody is denying that. Don't change the subject. Nobody is denying that. What we are saying is that you should receive 50% and not 60% or 70% and 80%. That's what we're arguing. That's the only thing. So in the news media, it's talking about, oh, that's cutting benefits and reducing the benefits for these employees. No, it's not. It's just not giving you it just wasn't giving you the extra 10 or 20% that nobody else in the country gets that earn the same amount. It's not reducing your benefits. So that's another argument. And it's not about discriminated against you because you're public servants. That's another thing. Oh, discriminated against teachers and firefighters. Now it's the complete opposite. Now you're discriminating that other people, other firefighters and teachers and police are not receiving that extra 5, 10, 15, 20% that you are receiving. So you're discriminated against your compatriots by saying you're better than them and they don't deserve that extra percentage. So yeah, good luck with that argument. As you can see, I'm not happy about this. This is an injustice, and I understand the previous system was not the best, but you should have fought to fix it rather than just throw the whole thing out and make everything completely unfair. And so again, the politicians, it was completely they used you as pawns as well. There are some people that of this 3% that knew there, and they knew that this was incorrect. But some people, that bought the company line and never really understood that we're talking about a percentage, not the fact that you didn't, earn it or anything like that. So this is I'm going to pop up what we need to do to get this thing fixed, and either fix it or give all the other police, firefighters, teachers, janitors, lunch ladies an extra 5, 10, 20%, which will put another 100, 200, $300 in their pocket. So if the other 97% of police and teachers, firefighters, and every wants a higher percentage, like these 3%, then here's what you do. You contact your senator, representative. Here's the switchboard for the U.S. Capitol. Here's the switchboard for the White House. Go on to their your local politicians, the two senators, the House representative. You go on to their websites and you say, this is an injustice. This is completely unfair. This is, we see right through you. Contact your local news, visit your office of your senator, go on social media, share this channel, subscribe. I'm going to keep you all up to date on this. We're going to make sure this gets fixed. And 4 things you want to please address. Number 1 is, hey, if these 3% get an extra $586 more percentage than I do, I want 586, or you treat everybody fairly. All right. If I earn the same amount as they do, then they get 50% and I get 50%. They don't get 70%. Okay. And then to do a true fix of Social Security, I would recommend, and everybody that watches my channel here on a regular basis recommends, smash the cap. And this is even worse than the 3%. This is about 2% of people in America that make over $176,000 per year that don't want to pay FICA like the rest of us. Basically, what it is in Social Security, you pay FICA Social Security up to $176,100. Anything after that, you don't pay FICA Social Security anymore. You pay Medicare, but you don't pay Social Security FICA anymore. And that's one of the issues. There's about 2% of people, the millionaires, billionaires that don't want to pay into Social Security. So they are fighting this tooth and nail. If they did pay into Social Security like the rest of us, we'd pay Social Security 365 days of the year on all our income. But if you're, one of these rich, you probably January 1st, probably in the first few seconds, you pay Social Security FICA tax for the first few seconds, and the rest of the year you don't pay it anymore. And if they paid into FICA like the rest of us, then the cuts and everything would not happen, and we might even get an increase in benefits, better COLA or something. So smash the FICA cap. So when you reach out to your senators and representatives and news, and if you've got anybody on the news, local channel or whatever that wants to interview me, please give them my information, send them my YouTube channel. So smash the cap, make FICA taxes fair for everybody. We've been paying FICA taxes on all our income for decades. Let's share the pain and have everybody pay the same FICA. And then ask your politician, what are they doing to improve customer service? Because those are current cuts. If you're a regular viewer to my channel, you know that I'm about to go live here. Well, I am live now, but I'm about to go to the live Q&A part. So if you have any questions about all things Social Security, make sure you type them in the chat there, and I will help you out and make sure you're getting all the benefits you're eligible for. Because right now there are cuts because people are not able to get into Social Security, or they're getting wrong information, they're getting delayed, and they're losing money. So these are cuts that are happening right now, and that is a conscious decision by politicians to make you hate Social Security, not get the money you're entitled to. So ask your politician, what are you doing to improve customer service at your local office? All politics are local. So, okay, hey, Senator, there's a Social Security office right down the street. 3 hour wait. I have to wait 8 months to get my disability claim. They lost this, they did this. What do you do to improve customer service, right? So those are trying to prevent current cuts. So I can go back into retirement, and you'll never see me again once everything is cool and copacetic. Old Marine Corps sergeant, so I'll find some other crazy mission. But anyway, number four is, what are you doing to stop the cuts of your Social Security check in the future in 2031, 2032, 2034, whatever it turns out to be once the Social Security trustees does their analysis. And you can look in the description in YouTube of the analysis there. What are you doing, my representative, to actually solve Social Security? And if they give you, let me know what they tell you. If they give you some BS about fraud, waste, and abuse and stuff like that, yes, there's fraud, waste, and abuse, but that's just a drop in the bucket. We're talking, we need a lot of money to shore up Social Security going forward. And it's don't the whole thing was given to this country, or the trust fund was stolen. Regular viewers to my channel know that's all BS. That misdirection. Politicians are very, very good at misdirection. Hey, look over here, and while they pick your pockets, right? So those are the four things. Please reach out and then come back in the comments and say, hey, Ed, I reached out to all three of my representatives, my two senators, and my house and my congressperson, House representative, and I reached out to all of them and waiting for a word back, and tell us, tell everybody what you heard. So let's. All right, as I slowly take my moment of zen here and try to calm down a little bit. Yeah, this is. I am. Yeah, we want. I'm not political. I am attacking. I am, as we used to say in the Marine Corps, calling on the carpet both sides. This is a bipartisan thing, and anytime any politician, I don't care where they are in the political spectrum, I'm gonna call them out, and so I'm gonna be doing that over the next many weeks.